So, okay, so to you, what actually prompted you to take part in this Mrs. UAE? I mean, was there some kind of an aspiration from before? Because from what I gather is that you're already well settled in your profession, in your own business. So what was the motivation behind? Yeah.
Sure. That will be a long answer, Suji. So I will have to take you back a few months, if not a few years. However, I choose to be vulnerable in front of my audiences. I choose to open up, not because, it's the sympathy you seek. I mean, I have gone through what I've gone through, so there is no turning back. I think it's in the interest of wanting to give an example, set an example, and be a reason of hope for whoever, should come across challenges in life. And like you said, the suicide rates, the cases of depression, mental health issues, even professionally in corporate cultures, people are struggling with mental health challenges, right? So I've had my share of challenges. I did not become a winner overnight. Briefly, I, as a woman, have struggled with gynec-related issues. From the very early age of, let's say, 2021, I had time and again situations that came up which required doctor's attention. Keep rolling few years forward. I had few smaller surgeries which enabled me to, get back into shape and move on with my day-to-day life. And this was all related to gynecological ailments. 2015 brought a huge distress for me and my family, wherein I had to go through an open stomach surgery. You can imagine, for me as a girl, you like to be a certain shape or size, or you look after your body. Looking beautiful and being healthy are different goals for different people. So I don't say how I choose to be beautiful is the way beauty is defined, because I think it's a very subjective view of looking at things. But imagine somebody cutting through your abs and leaving you to live the rest of your life with that to carry, because they say core is where the strength is gathered. That's why they say in when you go to gymnasiums, we have to strengthen your core, right? And my core was cut through. I thought I had survived the worst of my life. That surgery resulted in a lot of steroid treatment as a post-operative recovery procedure. I put on a lot of weight, I think over 10 kilos. Nothing in my wardrobe would fit me. And really, if you look back at my pictures, when I look back at my pictures, I don't recognize myself. Can you imagine? I look like a different person. And while the physical self was changing, was also changing my mental self, because I was going through very low self-esteem. I started to doubt myself. My integrity was questioned by nobody else but my own self, right? And when you are there and when you think so low of yourself, I think that's the energy you vibrate, right? So a lot of things around me were falling apart. And at that time, I did not understand it. It did not make sense, because I was not operating out of a very positive space. And there's a lot that I can talk about that experience, but I want to bring you forward to what happened in the last 6 months, right? So while this is important for our listeners to know that I survived that surgery, what happened next was even bigger, a blow, let's say that. So
just interrupting you. What made you take part in this contact? Was it like planned beforehand, or it happened later? Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead now. Yeah.
Sure. I was coming to that, but thank you for the question. So, when I was a younger girl, I participated in I did some ramp walks. I was a May Queen in an event at Bangalore, and I did some things. I was face of LG, the electric brand here in UAE. This was 2010, and I had my hoarding on Sheikh Zayed Road for a few weeks. But, that was that at a younger age. So what motivated me to apply, Suji, Suji, is related to all the trauma that I went through in the last 7 months. So last June, July, I was contacted by the pageant committee or the team. They found me on Instagram and Facebook, and they kind of told me that there is this event about to happen, and we would very much like for you to participate. And while that happened, I was already running from pillar to post, seeing different doctors because there was a certain diagnosis about my gynec-related situation yet again. Things took a turn for worst, and it was in August that I found myself packing my bags and hurrying to Mumbai, which is where my family is and which is where my family treating doctor as well is. So it was looking very unfortunate because this time they suspected an ovarian cancer situation. And as you can imagine, an ovarian cancer can be very critical. I, to be honest, for a moment thought this is it for me, right? That the recovery is difficult out of that. I packed my bag with my husband. We flew down to Mumbai, and it's funny. While all this was happening, the pageant team was checking in with me, was calling me, "Ma'am, we have not seen your registration."
This is in August 2021, right?
August 2021. Yes,
and
yes. Last year.
Pageant was to be in November. December, my God. So you're just 3-4 months.
Yes. And then the diagnosis, came, and the doctor said I have to go through an intensive surgery. So my surgery happened end of September. And it was over 8 hours long surgery. A lot had to be taken care of. But the only thing that I'm very thankful for, and I think God was on my side there was no cancer. There was a huge price to pay for what needed to be taken care of. But like they say, the worst did not show up. So I'm very, very thankful that, the cancer wasn't there. And I remember after the surgery lying down in the bed, and my husband was there, and my phone was ringing, and guess who was calling? It was the pageant team again. They knew I was dealing with some emergency, but they did not know what that was because, even we weren't sure what it is. And I remember laughing to my family and my husband saying, I can't even lift a finger, and they are thinking I will walk the ramp. So I got discharged. My post-recovery period was supposed to be very long because of the intensity of the surgery. So the post-recovery was for 2 months. And I was not even allowed to walk, Suji, let alone jog or do yoga or swim. And all these months, we had the pageant team following up. And to be honest, they thought, and I kind of thought this is it because, the dates were very close. We were now in November, and the event was 10th and 11th of December. So I told them, look, if I don't call you in the next few days, please don't bother, and I wish you luck. And the week after that was my 2 months completion post-recovery, which they say is very critical for your post-recovery, post-operation recovery. And my reports came very good. My doctor was very happy. And then I presented the idea to the doctor. I said, Doc, since you see my reports are good, this is going on, and I wish to participate. And you know what he said? And I still remember very clearly when he said those words. He's like, if you now wanted to go participate in gymnastic and roll over your head and spin the cartwheel, I'm okay with that. And I was like, okay. So I entered the pageant end of November, which is less than 2 weeks into the finale.
Okay. Great. That's something to tell the viewers from a medical perspective. I can tell you because I'm a radiologist, so we see every patient, a lot of patients who come before surgery for their scanning, and they are very demotivated, depressed. And as you said, surgery which took a long, surgery, I can imagine the kind of recovery which is needed for a long surgery itself is very time consuming. It just drains you off, not just your physical, but even the emotional and mental well-being. And so my next question is, tell me, what is it, apart from what a doctor said, what is it that made you? There must be something which must have told you that I must take part in this, in spite of going through all this, in spite of having just a few months, in spite of knowing that this kind of a beauty pageant demands a very good physical state, because that's the kind of industry it is. So what is it that one or two things which told that you must take part in this?
Yes. So, Jay, I'll give you a little bit of a long answer for this because I think it's important, right? I want to share this because I want people to know that it's not always grass is greener on the other side of the fence. We all go through our highs and lows, right? So I was not so confident when I was going into the OT. I wasn't so confident when the diagnosis was coming and I was sitting and smiling on the results. No, I was weak. Like you said, I felt that, it was unfair for me to go through this, having gone through all of that. I almost felt like a victim. I was in the victim mode. All that happened. But I think what's important really here is, and the point I'm trying to drive is how you bounce back from that state, right? And I have been on the spiritual journey that and I know. And like they say, when you're ready, the guru or the master appears. I don't know if I'm ready, but my master definitely appeared a couple of years back. And here I'd like to speak about, as you see behind me, my dearest friend, my divine friend, Mitra Shriji. And I do believe, obviously we are a left brain intense community and civilization, and I am the age that I am, and we tend to think from our brain thinking we know it all, right? But I think there is something which is inside of us and our subconscious, and we need to let it speak to us every now and then, if not all the time, right? So for me, it's a work in progress. I think I have come a long way. I'm nobody to judge or assess it, but internally and as a person, I feel I have made some progress. So yeah, having said all of that, and having felt all those low emotions, it was for me, it was, Suji, not about winning the crown or not about winning the pageant. For me, it was about, not letting my mind challenge my integrity as Charul. That Charul is worth nothing, that nothing nice happens to her, that, every time she thinks life is good, something bad happens to her. This is her life, why can't she accept it? And I was not okay with all that self-talk. I wanted to change the narrative. I wanted to challenge what my mind was telling me. And I wanted to do it for me. That, when my surgery happened, my hemoglobin overnight went from 12 to 4.5 or something. So I tell my friends, and we laugh about it now, the doctor said, lift a finger. And I kept staring and my finger would just, would not move. This was 24 hours after the surgery. And being in that state, looking at my husband, I very discreetly remember, because he was the only one who was around me in the hospital, and I told him, if my divine, if my God, if my friend, if the person or the power I believe in is putting me through this, there is definitely a reward waiting for me on the other side, and I want to get well to see what that reward is. And I think it's that inspiration that you get, and that wasn't the Charul few years back that I know of. So all of that, and just the willingness to do something for myself, not for the sake of winning. I think all of these and to be honest, of course, my family and your loved ones, right? When I said, my doctor has given me a green light, I want to participate, everybody was a thumbs up. So yeah, I give credit to all of this. And yeah, 2 weeks before the finale, there was a wild card entry in the pageant, and that was me.
Okay, that's really amazing. So friends, I just can't tell you what Charulji has shared. These should be actually take-home points for all of us. For any one of us who thinks that, our life is an end. For any one of us who thinks that there is nothing good which is happening. For any one of us who thinks that I'm not worth it. or I'm not good enough, or why bad things only happen to me, as she very rightly pointed out, of what the victim mode that she went through. So this is something which a lot of us off and on go through, but yet there was some spark inside her which gave her that guidance. There was something which she wanted to prove to herself. So the same divine whom she's following, divine friend, even he's my mentor and guide, divine friend Mitra Dada Shriji, and the message that he always have told is to dream big and you fulfill your passion. When you fulfill your passion to the best of your ability, put in all the positive efforts, the divine will come and help you. This is exactly what Charulji went through. This is something which is very straightforward, practical thing for any one of us who is out there, who is feeling that, I cannot make it, I cannot do it, or thinking that, whatever that you are going through, it could be physical, it could be mental, that I will not be able to cross. You just need to believe in yourself. And
yes,
this is something very wonderful, Charulji. What I like, something which I would like to add, is that you wanted to prove to yourself, which take you out from that, mode of feeling negative, which even I do. And, a lot of times when I feel low, I challenge myself to do something very positive. I'll take extra sessions, I'll do extra work. And that feeling, that energy which you feel is so empowering. Very, very important. So in this same lines, one very important thing which you said here is that it was not about winning. So eventually, one of the things for especially youngsters, and in fact, I am including myself, because right from childhood, I always wanted to be on the top. And with the grace of the divine, I could top all the time. And I remember still when I was doing my MBBS, I did not reach the top. In fact, got my marks very low. And I still remember that day I came and cried. And my mom and my family was shocked, because I used to, what is it that, this guy, adult crying. So for me, that being on the top, that thing went away. And that is the time I realized it is not about being on the top. It is a journey. So can you just add something to this?
Sure. Suchi, my friends know that, there is a saying that I really live by. And this was a saying by Nelson Mandela. And he said, life is not about winning, right? It's so, or let's say he says, you never lose. You either win or you learn. And if you can learn, then, winning is irrespective, right? So I truly apply that, learned it the hard way, but I really apply it. And another saying, which has now become my favorite, and I quote it wherever I can, for my interest and for the interest of the listeners, is if you want to see the rainbow, you have to put up with the rain. So if you really want to see those beautiful colors on the other side, you have to take the downpour as well. But the beauty is how you enjoy that downpour, how you enjoy that journey, which will lead you to that rainbow, right? And I think that's the moment we kind of make peace with that, that's where I think the shift happens. That's where the click happens. And when I entered the pageant, we talk about being a winner. I remember the first few hours, I felt like I did not belong. I felt like I did not fit in. I felt like everybody was ahead of me in the game, because they've been preparing for this for last 4-5 months. And there were also moments where I said, what are you trying to do? Just, pick up your keys and go. So there was a lot of, negative thoughts, negative self-talk, self-doubt, self-criticism, and I can just go on, right? And that's natural. I think we as humans, we think we have superpowers. May we have them, but the superpower in let's say in an instance like this was nothing else but knowing that I'm not giving up. Just having that sense of not giving up is your superpower at that moment. You do not need to be in a Spider-Man costume, throwing cobwebs out of your hand, right? So a superpower is, I think, just grabbing the bull by the horn, coming to terms with what's happening in your life at the present today, and making a conscious choice of doing what's best for you. And that's your superpower then. And that's when you are going through your own rain to, aim for the rainbow on the other side. So yeah, having done all of that, what I brought home is this. This is my precious crown. I couldn't have been more proud, not only because it is beautiful and I earned it, but I think it's the journey that led me to having this. And this always reminds me of my determination, my willpower, my grit, and I think it will always serve as an example that, not just women, I think we as humans, whatever we set our mind to, with a pure intention. And on that, something that came to me this morning when I was thinking about talking in this session is, it's important. If I went to win this, thinking I will do anything to win this, right? It could mean two different things, right? I will do anything to sabotage other participants or to make them look less or name shame anybody or, do things which will make them uncomfortable for me to, emerge more stronger. No, it's none of that. One can win like that for sure. We've seen many unjust things happen around us, but it's a conscious choice. And the other way is, you lift yourself up, you do what's right. And I hope to share those feedbacks or comments from my co-participants. And the feedback I got was why they liked me or why they enjoyed having, this participation together was how we enabled each other, how we supported each other, how we, stood up for one another, how we gave a little pat on the back of the other person when they were feeling low. And I think for me, all that is learning in this pageant, right? And I think I've made friends for life. And those are the things one should look forward to. So I'll take a pause here because this is so special. I can talk for a very, very long time.
Yeah. So just in the same lines, if I would like you to enumerate in all that you went through, certain learnings, whatever that comes to you naturally. Some you already covered, but in brief.
Yeah. Sure. I think there are a few. One is awareness. For me, that plays a very, very critical role in everything I do. How aware am I of my intentions? How aware am I of what is the outcome I expect from a certain experience? How aware am I of my own shortcomings? So I think awareness for me has been very, very critical. The other thing is identifying what happiness, joy, achievement, winning means to you. Right? Because it is an objective definition if you look at it, but make it your own. What does winning mean for you? I think in October for me, winning meant getting out of that hospital bed, feeling good, healthy, and emerging on top. 2 months after the recovery, when I had the opportunity to shine in this pageant, for me, winning meant participating beautifully and giving it my 100%. Well, if I won the crown, I'm very happy for it, right? So understanding and creating those definitions for yourself. And the third is giving back. And the reason why I'm so vocal about my story, why I'm sharing it on every platform possible, is because, we think that, I've gone through this. Many women go through this surgery. Very well, they do. I've gone through this, but there are people and men and women and kids who are going through more miserable experiences in life. But do they have the opportunity or the gift to share it with others? Are they doing it? What should I wait for, right? So instead of procrastination and, just kind of bringing up these fairy tales in your head, just go ahead and take that first step, and let's know this, that, while I'm doing this, like the challenge that happened today, Suji, right? We could not go live on Instagram. Yeah. It's about working around it, finding those caveats, finding those other ways of moving forward. So yeah, I think these would be my key pointers to the listeners.